Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. As always, I'm Ace, that's McMillian, and it's a double upload week, everybody. We're coming back at you with this week with our Suzume movie review, a spoiler review as well. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is now your chance to click off. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get to this. How you doing, McMillian?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good. So, Suzume, this was a movie we talked about a lot when it, first got announced, right? And then two, we was also talking about it a lot when it officially got moved over to Crunchyroll as well. And, we finally done checked it out.
Yep.
We heard, we wanted to see what all the fuss was about. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.
So before we get started up with this review, of course, as always, for those who haven't seen the movie and you're just here for whatever reason still, right? Why don't you go ahead and give everybody a brief synopsis of the story?
Yeah, so Suzume basically focuses on this character, Suzume, who is like a 17-year-old girl who unfortunately lost her mother, after like a disaster had happened, and continues to live with her aunt. After that, after the disaster, she moves to a quiet town with her aunt and meets a young man that says, he's looking for a disaster site, basically. And she tells him about this place that no one really goes to anymore. But somehow she ends up making it there before him, which I think is very weird, considering he says, I've been looking for this place. And she ends up finding this odd door that seems to have the ability to show her a different world. After trying to go through it and failing, she removes what looks to be some keystone that turns into a living creature and runs off. And she's like, oh, well, that was weird. I'm not going to think anything of it. Goes to school, but then later sees something terrible, meets back up with the guy she saw, and ends up sealing the door. Great. Crisis averted, right? Wrong. Because the keystone ends up showing up again and turning the young man into a chair and derailing basically his entire mission, which is to go and find these doors and seal them away to make sure our disasters don't happen.
There we go.
Through the travels and tribulations of trying to get this guy back to being a regular person, Suzume meets and discovers people and places that kind of revitalize her, I guess, wonder and excitement for the world and things of that nature. And it's really nice, beautiful story.
It is. It's a nice time. It's a nice time. And then for those who's wondering, yes, this is the movie about the guy who turns into a chair and the girl falls in love with the guy who turns into a chair. This is that movie.
Which at first I don't know if it's documented on the podcast, but I hated that premise because I was like, this is a chair. A chair, but after watching the film,
and understanding
it, after watching the film and understanding, I'm like, all right, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I was.
I said the same thing as I was watching it, because I was watching the movie and I was just, enjoying the movie, of course, right? So I'm just watching the movie and enjoying it, and I was just thinking to myself, maybe I was wrong about this movie. Because I'm enjoying this movie right now. Maybe
I was like, this is really good. Maybe I was tripping.
maybe it's me. maybe I'm the problem.
Exactly. Am I the issue here? And I was. I can admit that.
Yes, it's 100%. I can admit that it was. I was the problem. I was wrong. This is a fantastic movie. Let's get into it a little bit. So, I think before I touch upon the characters, I think one thing I do want, because it's just a little bit easier to touch upon, is just the music, right? The music in this movie was phenomenal. You want to know what it really made me think about? And no lie, it gave me Fear vibes when I was listening to the music.
That makes sense. So the person who made this film, and I'm so sorry, I should have grabbed his name, but I forgot.
Don't worry about it. But we got power in it. We can figure that out.
But while you look for it, the person who made this film also made Weathering with You and Your Name. And those movies also have great soundtracks. Granted, I wasn't that big of a fan of Weathering with You, but Your Name is a really good film. And Did you
So
find it?
the author of Suzume, and I'm presuming these other movies you're referring to, is Makoto Shinkai.
Yeah, he makes great films. All of them have really good soundtracks. All of them are also very well animated. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend checking them out. Granted, I wasn't a fan.
Definitely after watching Suzume, I'm definitely gonna go check out some of his other works
I,
because
I,
he touched me with this one. He touched me with
yeah,
this
I
one.
wasn't. I wasn't the biggest fan of Weathering You, but Your Name is great.
Okay,
But the
definitely. I'll
but since we're
definitely
talking
gotta
about
check
the
that one
soundtrack,
out then.
I just wanted to mention those since we were talking about the soundtrack because
Mm-hmm.
all three of his movies have had banger soundtracks, and they've
Okay.
all had, and all of them like kind of focus on like the human experience in some way, especially like love being a part of it, and like
Mm-hmm.
how was it like love kind of connects people because like Your Name is basically like the passage of time and what that can do to like how love can connect people through that in a way. So it's just really it yeah, all his stuff has like a little personal feel to it, but like the music just kind of wraps it all up in a nice bow, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, nice. Definitely. Just so what was that show? Not the show. What's the name of the movie you said it was Your Name? The one you
Yeah.
recommended? Definitely.
Hmm.
Okay. Definitely. I'm
Yeah,
definitely check that one out then.
and then the other one he made was Weathering with You, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, but I
Okay.
still think it's a good film. So I'd
Gotcha.
still recommend checking it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So well, now let's just hop into the character discussion now. So, the main characters for this movie, we got Suzume, Soto, and then Daijin. Of course, we had some, other characters, supplementary characters here and there, right?
Yeah, her aunt Tamaki, and
There we
then
go.
the another one is Sota's best friend Tomoya,
Hmm.
the teacher who I really he wasn't in the movie for long. I really enjoyed that guy though.
Yeah, he was nice as well, but I think I'm trying to see you think about well, like word exactly what really captured me about this movie because I think what really caught me off guard is like you start watching because I guess the whole mystical aspect to it, right? Because I knew it had to
Hmm.
do something with like magic and like kind of like saving the world and stuff like from watching the trailers, but like I just didn't really know. And so when you
Hmm.
start watching the movie and then old girl, she finds the door, which is all it's about. She finds the door, and then everything starts going down. It's like, oh snap! Like this is picking up
No,
already.
yeah,
Like,
I didn't expect this movie to be as fast paced. Well, not fast paced, but I didn't expect like the how quickly I guess like I adjusted to the content and how much I was clamoring to see like
yeah,
more, I guess, of it. Like Suzume, like I didn't even know if I was going to like Suzume as much because I was like, I don't know how much like a school anime focusing on a schoolgirl teenager, and I was like, granted, there's this mystical aspect about it. I just did not know how I was gonna like it, especially with the chair thing. That threw me off. But I will say Suzume is a very interesting character, like the way she interacts with all the side characters that we get, because one of the big things this movie does is introduce a lot of side characters, and
yeah.
how the way Suzume interacts with these people and what she learns from them kind of influences like the movie as well and impacts like their journey, makes her a really interesting character. And even though I wouldn't say like she didn't have a lot going for her at the beginning, but over time you really kind of grow to like her
Yeah.
as the main character and like be interested in everything that's like going on with the journey she's taking.
Hmm.
Her and Sota are partaking.
What do you think about the moment where Sosa got turned into a chair? Do you like how it happened? Wish it happened a different way? Or do you think
I
it was just perfect?
that that was confusing. I will say because I didn't know at first. Like when it happened, I was like, "What the fuck just happened? Why did it happen?" I was like, is this cat thing that jealous?" Like, because at first they don't really like you. I think as the viewer, when Suzume removed the keystone and then it
Hmm.
turned in, and we see it turn into like this cat like creature, we're like, okay, what's that about? And then we see the cat later and it's eating like she feeds it, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then it just starts talking. It was like, I don't like the fact I don't like you. Be gone. And then it just like
Just
the
poof.
instant poof, and he's a chair. I was like, what? What
What?
the fuck?
Is that type of
I
movie? And I think that's really when I think it was really that moment right there when the movie grabbed me because like I already knew that of course this guy was gonna get turned into a chair, but not like that though.
Yeah, I really thought it was gonna be. I thought something was gonna happen. I don't know what I originally thought, but I think like when I saw
Like
the
maybe
part
he
of
fell through the door or something. Like, there was a tragedy,
yeah,
but that happened with the first encounter with the door, and it turned him.
ex-
But I guess technically that still is the case, right? But
but
but no, he like fell through the door and something, and that's what turned him
yeah,
turned him to a chair.
I thought that's what was gonna happen. I thought there was gonna be like a something with his soul, like he fell through the door during the time when they the piece of the dragon, because that's what
Yeah,
the
it was a worm.
thing is.
That's what they call it.
Worm.
You know what?
But
They could have did something. I'm gonna let you finish your thought first before I go on my rant.
I thought originally what was gonna happen was basically when he was like sealing that door, they showed like how his footing got loose, and I thought like the dragon thing was gonna pass through him and fuck with his soul or whatever, and it was gonna get transferred to the chair that way.
Yeah,
The fact that the cat was a hating ass cat,
basically
just turned him into a chair. Wild as fuck. I never thought that's was how it was gonna happen, but it by the end of the movie, it's perfect.
Yeah,
but it damn sure when it happens, it's like what?
But I think that's the moment that pulled me in, because right after he gets turned into the chair, then he starts running down the street
chasing
the cat, and then everybody's just like, "Is that a chair?" Like, and that's what I love about it, is like everybody acknowledging the goddamn chair running through the street, just like, "Is that a chair?" Like, what the hell's going on? But then nobody really's taking the time to stop and see what's really going on, though.
That's my biggest. That's probably my biggest issue with the first half of the film. Why is I would if in real life, if that happened, people would be chasing after that chair, especially in a small town, because that was like the whole thing. That was like the big focus of like the first half of the movie is like Suzume, normal girl, really small Japanese, Japanese town on like this part of the island. None of these people want to record this chair.
Yeah,
nobody.
But I mean, they touch back up on it as well, because at the beginning of the whole adventure, Suzume was like, you need me. You can't walk around as a chair by yourself. Then he showed her what was going on social media. Look at this. Everybody's already talking about you. if I don't help you now, somebody's gonna grab you before you even get a chance to stop. And I was like, yeah, somebody will. It
was just surprising that it wasn't like a bigger deal. Like people didn't
bigger
rush
deal. I feel to
record it and other things like that. Like it was like they saw pictures and posted online, but like
and
no one got a full
just
video.
Traveling around Japan, and everybody just documented his travels as well. That's funny. That's how they kept up with him. Is basically
dodging
everybody else.
The cat. They thought the cat was so cute. That now, granted, that was interesting because because they named the cat, right? They gave okay. For a second, I was about to say it's very interesting how the fuck she kept finding
I think the cat named himself, because like when
she did, but I'm saying when the cat got to like Japan proper, like after the ferry boat. The people came up with a name for him.
Yeah, Dajin. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah,
but his actual name is Dajin.
Probably.
I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot. He probably told him what his damn name was. He probably was telling people.
But I thought the people gave him a different name. Like,
no, when we first heard about the name, we heard is when we saw that people were fawning over Dajin and stuff like that. And everybody was asking, "What's your name, little guy?" And I was like, "Oh, Dajin. Okay."
Okay, because I was about to say, like, names are already bad with me, so I was just like, I thought he eventually told them his real name, but I see what you're saying, yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting, though, that one of the main ways we're tracking the damn social cat media is because of social media. I thought that was cool.
I would just say, that was smart, I feel like, on whoever's writer's perspective, because I damn sure would be like, all right, so the cat gets on the ferry and he goes to the main island of Japan, he just runs all over the place, and they gotta find him and seal the worm. How do they find the cat? I would have been in that writer's room like, damn, how do they keep up with the cat?
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that gotta get promotion. Like
Also, before I go too far as well, another funny aspect that I liked about the show is like one of the first moments when Soda turned into a chair, and then the way Suzume was holding, she just had the guy by one leg of the chair. Granted, that's like a normal way to hold the chair, but it was just funny because we know he's not a chair, and it was just funny how she was holding him. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. I also like a little bit with that is like how they addressed it was like, do you need to eat, sleep? Like how does this work?
Yeah.
Because I damn sure would be concerned.
And then yes, it's sad to find out that he wasn't sleeping during those moments. Well, we're gonna touch upon that a little bit later.
My God.
I thought that was wild as fuck.
Oh my god.
but but now back to this because you mentioned
Hmm.
it, the worm, right? The great disaster. They could they have not came up with something better as the main protagonist than this goddamn worm.
You mean the main antagonist?
Yes, they couldn't have came up with another crazy. Could we not at least made it a snake or something, right? Like, why we gotta make it look
I
like
mean,
this weird worm?
well, I don't think so the reason I called it a dragon is because I'm assuming they were referring they weren't actually calling it like a earthworm type thing, but another name for dragons or dragon type creatures is a worm, like
Yeah, YRM.
WYRM.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I assume that they were referring to it. And so in my mind, it was a dragon. It's basically what it was. It was different parts of a dragon, and I was just going off of that. But it would have been interesting to see it not all just be like a tentacle. I would
yeah.
have preferred maybe
I think
like
there we go. I think
different
we just could have did some
parts
better
of
visualizations than some goddamn
yeah.
tentacles, in my opinion.
And then
But
even when they made it like because when they made it to Tokyo,
mhm.
it didn't even it was like a fucking cloud thing. And I was like, granted, I know that this is very dangerous, but it doesn't look the most you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't look the most dangerous.
I don't know. I think you saw that fat ass red cloud in the sky in real life. You'll be kind of worried.
True. Well, I mean, I guess true that way, but I was like, it just. But in terms of, I just felt like it could have, like you said, it could have looked a little bit more threatening. But like,
Yeah, I feel
yes,
you. Yeah.
obviously, if I'm walking down the street and I see some giant red cloud, I'm like, well, that's not normal.
Yeah. I think that's really my only gripe with the show. It's just like the visuals we decided to go with for the worm or the entity. I just think we could have did something better than that, in my opinion.
it could have been a bit more menacing. Couldn't been more than a fog.
It didn't necessarily have to be menacing. You just could have just give it a form. You just made it a worm. You just gave it a worm form. Like you just we could have did something better. Yeah, tentacles. We could have did something a little bit better than that. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they technically did give it a form in that one scene, but then like in the final scene, right? It was still just a worm. But I don't know. Like I said, just visually, I think we just could do a little bit better than that, than just the worm.
No, I agree. It could have been. They could have touched up that part, but they still made it work. It was just crazy.
They still made it work. But one of the things I guess I want to touch upon, I guess this is what I was trying to think to myself: the whole Dajin's reasoning essentially for doing what he did, right? Because we kind of find out at the end that Dajin goes and helps restore the balance, right, and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
everything was happening because Dajin was going around and opening all these damn gates, almost really, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But then you come to find out that he's one of the gods of the world or whatever, and he's one of the keys to hold him in.
Mm-hmm.
So was he
for like ever?
Was it kind of like, and at least this is how I interpret it, Dajin wanted to be free and he wanted to be with Suzume, so he wanted Soda to play Dajin, his place as the key to hold in the great monstrosity. At least that's what I took from it, and that's the reason why he was going around causing havoc and causing destruction, was to force and push Sota into becoming the key.
Yeah, that's what I got as well. I honestly don't know. I wouldn't know what else you could get from the film because that's very much so what it seemed to be. Okay. The only thing that was confusing to me is when the second Dajin showed up, because I was like, where the fuck did you come from? But
well, we know when they first got to Tokyo, they mentioned the other keystone was in Tokyo. That we did get to see the gate at some point, right? And we come to find out that we come to find out that the second cat was the second keystone.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, like, they don't ever say like who removed it or if they both get removed at the same time or how that works.
No, they never mentioned who removed it. Yeah. Maybe Dodge removed it because in order to fully release it, maybe he just went and removed it.
That was my assumption, but I was just wondering because they never really touch up.
And then at the end, you kind of saw how the bigger cat was. I don't know. It was kind of weird at the same time because then, like, there was that one scene where the other cat looked like he was controlling Suzume's auntie and made her say some weird stuff, right? But then in the final battle, you see the big ass cat helping us. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It was weird. I'm assuming what happened is after Dajin got rejected by Suzume, is that he went to go and then like got rejected, and also like Sota became the keystone. that he went to go find the other one to help them release Sota in some way, form, or fashion, and that Dajin and the other big Dajin, they
Mm-hmm.
represent like good and evil in a way. Maybe like mankind, mankind's joy and happiness and stuff like that, and then
Maybe
mankind's like
because then at the
content,
same
evil stuff.
time,
Because like,
to me, it felt like the Black Dodging looked like he came to almost kind of like babysit and shepherd the other Dodging back to where the hell he was supposed to be.
I mean, like I said, like I said, I think our normal Dajin, the white one, the small one,
Mm-hmm.
the play is to represent like some good but also bad parts about humanity, like our joyfulness or stuff like that, but like also carefree. And that's kind of because that's what Dajin basically was. Like this whole movie was carefree, yet he was doing stuff like to get Suzume's attention, get her love, to try and push Sota to become the keystone, which is very fucked up. But like the way he interpreted everything, he was doing it because he wanted Suzume's attention, wanted her love. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not the way obviously you go about doing it. And then when the other one showed up, while it did keep the original Dajin in Rain, it also was able to like heighten Suzume's aunt's emotions to the point where she said stuff that she regretted, but also that she did feel at times. She even admitted, like it, even though it was like bad stuff. So I felt like in a way they were like yin and yang, kind of. To
Yeah, I definitely think that because if you look at the character visualizations for both the Dodgins, the black one has a white ring gun in his eyes. The white one got a black ring gun in his eyes. So I think
Mhm.
that signifies the yin and yang as well. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're like you said, the two of the other half. I don't think how you could miss that part,
Yeah,
but
I
I
think
don't know. Like I said, I just thought it was weird how they were both helping, but then at the same time, like causing havoc. But I guess that's once again, like how Soda said, the whims of God. They do whatever as they please.
we
You know what I
want.
mean?
Hmm. Yep, 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 yep.
I feel you. And so, okay, so the next things I want to talk about, one of the major plot twists for the movie is when you find out that Sota is actually not sleeping when during the
Hmm.
nighttime and stuff, right? Like it turns out our man was fighting for his life every single night. He was
Every
he
day.
was
Yep.
fighting for his
Every
life
day. Every day. He was trying to resist the call of the void, basically, and
Yes.
because we found out that what Dajin had basically did to him, I mean, besides I turning him into a chair, was making him a keystone, making him an item that could seal away the great worm.
Mm-hmm.
And to resist fully becoming that, it, yeah, it was weird because like I was about to say he had to stay awake, but it was more so like he had to remember himself and like
Yeah.
not give in to that whatever power I guess was turning him into an
That
object.
keystone.
But
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because, and then it's just like, because like you said, we all thought it was nice and innocent and stuff like that, right? Because Susume is just like, wake up, Soda. Like, I can't believe you're sleeping this long. And every time, then you just find out, I mean, our boy was in there fighting for his life
His
every
life.
single night. It's
Hmm.
just like, wow. And then like he didn't, and then he never even mentioned that as well to Suzume as well, like about how that. I guess he never really had a chance to, because like right after
Well,
that last time, he got turned into a keystone.
yeah, I think it was like I don't want to mention this because if like we might for the instance they were while they were chasing the cat while they were skilling all these doors, the hope
Mhm.
was eventually we're going to catch him, turn him back into
A
a
keystone, yeah.
keystone and seal the way, and then like I get my body back, stuff like that. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't want to mention what was going on because like that if they did
Put
everything
pressure
right,
on Suzume then.
yeah, exactly. This won't even be a problem really. But like unfortunately, we get to the end and they make it to Tokyo too late, and it's like fuck. I gotta do it now. The-
Yeah, yeah. So I guess we go at the the first climax, right, of the movie with um Sota being used as the new keystone to seal away the great disaster, right? Then we go on this whole travel with Suzume going to find Sota and free him from his realm. What do you
Mhm.
make of that whole trip? And would you have done that? You find for I guess somebody. Well, no, she was falling in love with Sota.
So
We all figured that out, right? She was falling in love.
uh-huh.
But would you have done that for your loved one? Or I guess
Would
soon to
have
be loved one.
of
I guess in
well,
this in
prob
this
I mean,
case.
most yeah, I mean, I think after that whole thing went on and, like, that whole journey they went on, like, learning, about, like, the different things of the world, stopping all these disasters, growing closer, yeah, I think that made sense to do something like that and obviously see what because like, you can't we can't go out on a L, I think it's the whole thing, we can't go on a loss, and she tried to like, they tried so hard to bring him back, I think it would have been terrible to just end it on like, yeah, no, he a Keystone and just walk away from it.
Yeah,
Like I know that would have been
now,
shitty.
now my adventures are with Dodger now. Me and Dodger go around the
Exactly.
world closing gates.
That's- I am now. My family is now the people that do this instead of Sota's family. That would have been odd, but interesting.
Hey,
I mean,
dark
because like,
twist.
yeah, I mean, it was interesting because I think when we get to that point in the movie when he becomes a Keystone, it very much did feel like an ending. I think
Yeah,
in that moment
it did.
because because it felt so final, like his goodbye, and then even like when she went to go visit his was it granddad, I think,
Grandfather,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Like he was like, girl, there ain't shit you can do for him now. Like, what the fuck? Like she because he didn't even give her a hint on like how
How to
to
save
do it.
him,
Like he just yeah,
potentially,
because she
yeah.
was just like all he said was, she said I had been to the
Well, he
realm
did give. Well,
beyond.
at the end, he did end up giving her the hint, but
But I mean,
before he didn't want
it
to give it
took
to her.
yeah, but it took so long. Even he was like she was like, I've been to the realm beyond. I know I can get there. And he was like, girl, go. And then he saw Dajin's shadow in the window, and he was like, you know what? Fuck it. The only way you can get back is if you enter through the same door you went in the first time. Which I was like, how the fuck do you figure that out? You was a child, so but it very much felt like that moment felt so finite, like an ending. Yeah, I could see how if they wanted to end it there and just like have a dark ending, but I definitely think continuing and showing stuff just kind of like drove home how much she had grown to love the guy. I guess
Yeah,
through their adventures. So
yeah. I I mean, you go on a magical mystery adventure, closing doors. I guess you'll can go close with somebody.
because I mean it was just because it was they did more than just that. Like I said, like every place they went, Suzume got to like grow as a person because she got to meet people and like learn about like the people there and almost in a way fall in love like with I want to say with the town or like the place that she helped save.
Mhm.
And they even talked about like they both learned about each other. Like he told her about his life being a sealer keeper. I forgot what they
Closing,
called closer.
closers.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
what
was
they
like,
call
it's
them.
a
Yeah,
yeah, and she got to tell him about like what it was like growing up, where she grew up, and how like losing her mom, and so like they grew together as like people, and because he learned to rely on her, and she some in some ways learned to rely on him. So I guess I mean it became believable for her to go out there and do all that stuff. The only thing that I would say that was somewhat unbelievable was her being okay to run that goddamn last track when the car broke down. I was like, all right, now you would actually hitchhike before you just start fucking booking it. But
booking it. I mean, she would have got there eventually, I guess. But yeah, I feel you. So you know what? Yeah, let's do this. What? Give me one of your favorite scenes from the movie, and I'll give you one of mine.
Ooh, the I feel like we probably gonna have the same one because this was such a good part. The carnival slash amusement park.
Okay.
That whole sequence, I was on the edge of my fucking seat because not only were we trying to stop the worm from coming, Dajin had to Sota had to catch Dajin, and that was like a thrilling ass chase. But the fucking shit started. The Ferris wheel started spinning where the
Yeah, the
door
Ferris wheel
was,
start moving. Yeah, and then
and
you
she
got
started
Susan May. Yeah.
having flashbacks about her mom and hearing her mom's voice. And she walked through, and she couldn't see that she was about to walk right over
Right
the
off.
edge.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck. I mean, I still got like I don't know how many minutes or hours left in this film, so I know she ain't dying. But like I was legitimately like stressed. I was like, oh, how the fuck did they close this? The thing
Yeah.
is moving now. Like you have no leverage to close the door. Like
Yeah.
that was such a good. It was such a good scene.
I love that scene, but the one I was thinking about just now is not that one, but it's definitely connected to that one. With the people she actually met in this town, right? The
Mhm.
mother who of the two children who works at
Oh,
the little
yeah.
karaoke bar
Uh-huh.
for the for the older people.
Boo, yeah.
I love the specifically the part where the kids are just looking at Soda in his chair form. And
Oh, yes.
they don't know like what he is just yet, but they can tell something's up with him. The mother's just like, why are you guys looking at the chair? And they just staring at the chair like we don't know what it is, but it's something about you.
Yeah, they started stacking food and items
And then
on
they
him.
then they start messing with him, start staking the food and stuff on him. Oh yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, no, it was that was fun. That was one of my favorite like funny scenes, I'd probably say. But that was really good. Oh man.
And then
Whew.
after that, he does the reveal. He started talking, and then Suzume's like, he's a toy. You guys like that? This is one of the latest toys.
So is this one of the latest toys? Because she was babysitting them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is wild. Would you let somebody babysit your kids like that you just met? I guess you
Every
can. Well, I will say this: just there is a thing like with human or like you could feel that, and I guess she probably didn't really feel any ill intent come from Suzume. So it was like I helped you out, you helped me out.
Also, I think it helps that Suzume is a teenage girl.
Girl as well, yeah.
Because if a teenage boy, I just feel like this would be very different if this
Yeah,
was a
I feel you. Not to
teenage
say,
boy.
listen, teenagers they could still be murderers and thieves as well too now. But I feel
Yeah.
it's just a little bit
I,
different though.
I feel
Yeah,
like there's a different conscious bias when it comes to males and females.
I feel you.
But I think we're also like location wise is different. Like in America, I don't know if the same story would happen because it's
It
not as safe
depends.
here.
It just depends. I can definitely see it happening because there is some good people in the world. Not to say there isn't, there isn't hitchhiking moments and
But
stuff
I'm
like
just
that. And but
mhm,
like you said, the case of where I just picked up this hitchhiker. Now I'm gonna let this hitchhiker watch my kids. Yeah, that's
right.
yeah,
I feel like here, not saying like obviously they're not good people here, but I'm just saying like stigma wise, we have a lot more rampant crime than I would say like Japan does.
yeah.
Like they're a little bit more locked down. Like for instance, J dramas and K dramas I find hilarious because granted I've never watched one, but it's funny to
Oh, you
see.
haven't? Oh, you need to watch some.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've heard they're good. I just haven't taken the time to sit down and watch them. But the funniest thing is when people online react to like the bad scenes and it's like, I'm doing crime with a knife. And like, and here it's like that people here laugh at that because guns are the most like are dangerous are the things that are
Yeah.
really dangerous to us. So it's just always funny to like think about like how different like or stricter laws are in a place because like granted that could have also played the thing. Me personally, I don't know if I would have just trusted somebody off rip to watch my children like that, regardless of how good they seemed. Because that's a stranger and these are my
Yeah, at the end of the
kids.
day, yeah, I feel you. That's a stranger. These
But
my kids, even though they are just upstairs. But yeah, it's just yeah.
yeah,
I thought that
I,
was wild too. I was like, huh, you gonna let a stranger watch her choose? But I guess, like you said, what really the deciding factor is she was a teenage girl. So it was like, okay,
girl,
well,
because
what can really happen?
yeah, because the thing is, I'm pretty sure this probably went through the mom's head. Like if something like this is a teenager, I'm a grown woman. I could take a teenage girl
The worst that would
in a
happen
fight.
is her stealing from me. I don't think she would harm my children. You know what I mean?
Children, yeah. But like also, I'm a grown woman. I could stop a teenage girl from doing stuff unless she got like a gun, probably, which Suzume wasn't carrying, obviously. So,
Stick them up. Stick them up. You
but,
fool. You finally let
but
your
I'm pretty
guard
sure
down.
but I'm pretty sure that was like the thought process going through her head and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
But I
And
mean,
also
it was a
Suzu
touching moment though. It shows you, the human compassion and
yeah, I mean,
everything and stuff like that. Pick up the hitchhiker, and now I need a favor. I helped you out. You helped me. Here, and then I even fed you and stuff as well. But like I said, it shows the human in things. I love that because I really do think in today's time is just unfortunately the
we
human
don't have a lot of
element
good
of a
yeah.
lot of stuff is just not there anymore. And it's just like,
Mhm.
well, why, just just you shouldn't have to always do things. Just always want something in return. Do stuff just because you're a good person. Sometimes is what I
I
like
mean,
to
like
live by.
I was
But
gonna say like that's one good thing I really enjoy about the film actually
yeah.
is when she goes and travels to all these different places. She see it's interesting because she sees the good and the bad side of an area, which is
Hmm.
like the people who are willing to help me out and do all these things even though they barely know me. Like how that first girl, she saved her oranges and then the girl was able to give her a ride to the disaster site and where she could seal it. And like the disaster sites very obviously hold like bad memories
Hmm.
because and bad and good memories.
Well,
Like
bad
the
and
first,
good. Yeah.
yeah, because I was like the place is a school, and obviously something bad happened here because the school shut down. It's run down. It's terrible. But like when you get there, you can hear like the good memories of the place where it's like children laughing, learning stuff like that. The same thing with like the Ferris wheel. Obviously, a disaster happened here. This lovely place is no longer something people can go to, but it
Hmm.
held a lot of good memories when it was around even
Yeah.
though like a disaster shut it down. So that was one aspect I really liked about the film of like the two sides of like seeing good in a place and also seeing the bad, but understanding that it was once something like jovial. It was just that constant thing through the movie was really cool to see that the good in something.
100%. 100%. Um. Yeah. I think. I mean, because yeah, we touched up on dodging. Touched up on some of these characters here. The journey. Yeah, we talked about the journey a lot. Just going from place to place, meet people, seeing the good and bad and everything.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's too much else. Yeah, we talked about some of our favorite moments. I don't think there's really too much else to talk about. Um, unless there's something I'm missing here. Is there anything else you want to hit up on?
I mean, like the only other thing I think of before we give it a rating would probably be like, is there anything from the film that you didn't that you would have wanted to see that they didn't really touch up on?
That I would have. That's a good question. Anything from the film that I didn't see that I would have wanted to touch up on?
Because like for me, granted, the one thing I think I would have liked to have seen that the movie really didn't show
Mm-hmm.
was just like more so the history of the closers because like is that like because I was like the way it sounded, Sota's family has been doing this for like years. But I
Mm-hmm.
was also like, is he really the only one doing all this? Because he makes it sound like there's an innumerable amount, like an unknowable amount of these doors that open up
Yeah.
all the time. But and I'm like, so
And
are you
possibly
really
one
the
guy
only?
can't get to all of
Yeah.
these. Yeah.
And I was just like, is your family really the only people doing this? Like, are you telling me out of all the time, nobody else has been dragged into this? Because it just feels like this
Well,
would be a lot easier.
they no during the time where they was going over the history of the closes and stuff like that, that brief histories, I mean them closing up all the old gates and stuff like that. It didn't look like that was that was a group of people, and I'm pretty sure that group of people wasn't just one family. You know what I mean?
Family,
So
yeah. That's why I was like, I just would have liked to have seen like that a more like if there was a connected network of closers or something like that, because I felt like that would have added an interesting element to the film.
mhm.
Because it would have been interesting to see Suzume like them trying to reach out to other people that might have been
Other
closers if they
closes and
could.
trying to figure out stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I just would have that would have been cool. But I understand why they didn't because at the end of the day they wanted to keep it kind of like
contained
focused
on
on Suzume.
Susan
Yeah,
May and Sota.
Suzume
Yeah.
and Tota. Yeah, but that would have something I would have liked to have seen if they could have shown it in
Okay.
any sort of aspect.
Well, if you since you're excellent, I think one thing I would have liked to expand upon, and maybe just what the exact disaster was. They kind of just allude to, this disaster happened, but
To
they
the
never
worm. Yeah.
specifically say, well, not necessarily weren't like, but the exact disaster with Susan May losing her mom, right?
No. Oh yeah, they don't really touch
They
upon that.
don't really touch upon like what
We see it's a
happened during that
yeah. We see it.
time.
We see it's a snowstorm because she got lost
Yeah,
in the snowstorm.
I'm assuming
But we
maybe
don't.
the bomb dropped or whatever, and that was probably what was going on, essentially. But I don't know.
Well, they don't really tell. They don't really give a year of when this
But
happened. So
but that
yeah.
as well. But then, like I said, yeah, they don't really give a year either, as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So something, yeah, something could have happened. She could have died on a trip for all we know. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that is also an aspect I would have liked them to touch up on because the twist at the end of like her being in the door and it being her older self coming to her and stuff. I was like, okay, that's cool, but also we still know so little about her mom. Like, it would have been great to kind of see like what that was about. I do agree with you.
Yeah. Especially because we had that, and I do like I beautiful character development from what little time we did have with her auntie, right? Because we had that whole character arc. The whole time she's chasing around Suzume. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come back! But like Suzume said, you're being
really
suffocating.
hoping.
But then she opened up at the end, like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. You're doing this for love. I got your back. Some of that stuff. I said. I may have felt like that at some point, but that's not. Of course, that's not how I truly feel.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's not all of our relationship is. And I really liked how at the end she showed up to get, because I in my head during this film I was like, there's no way she's just cool with you just traveling around. I was like, this is not Pokemon, all right? Like,
yeah,
there's like she gotta be highly upset. And I was so glad when she showed up to actually be like, Suzume, what the fuck you been doing? Come on. I was like, I was like, okay, cool. Responsible adulting. There we go. Granted, you waited a bit long for my taste, but at least it happened. Like, I was
she had to track it down. It's not like Suzume was just staying there in one spot. I know,
but I was like, I'm surprised after, like, because I feel like realistically, and granted, I don't know how what the ferry schedule is for that one island, but I just feel like a parent,
you would have been on that bitch.
Like, I feel like yeah, my mom, I would have been found the next day. There wouldn't be multiple adventures.
By the time I'm waking up, she already at the door.
Exactly. Exactly.
How did you find me? Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
Just get your shit and let's go.
Exactly. Like, because I was very concerned. I'm like, there's no way we're just like, this movie, it has an irresponsible parent trope. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, but no, she showed up. She pulled through. She said, Suzume, you coming with me, but then she was like, all right, well, fuck it, let's go. If you're not coming with me, I'm at least coming with you.
At least come with you.
You're not gonna stay by yourself no more. Yeah, like you said, I did like that as well. She that whole character development was nice in the way that ended as well. And then speaking of ended the character development, as you touched on his friend, just hilarious. His friend was the one that owed him money. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he was acting like he owed him money, but he was like, man, look, man, I can't admit this because it's embarrassing. I actually owe him money. Oh, I'm not rich. He actually the one with the money. Okay, I just wear it well. Okay, I wear being broke.
I told you this was a used convertible. All right.
I wear being broke very well. He was a really good time. He was a really good time.
And then I just knew when the car had crashed that it was going to end. The convertible top was going to completely close. I was like, perfect, because even if the joke is like so predictable, it's still funny. It's still fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was, like I said, great comedic timing. Great comedic timing. But
then my boy just like, looks like the top fix, and then you just see the door handle fall off.
And there we go.
Well, there we go. I mean, but it's still usable. Now you got one of them butterfly doors. Just think about it like that. You'll be good.
Well, at the end, if I'm not mistaken, it was taped on, which I thought was also very funny.
But I guess this is my last nitpick of the day. It's just that Suzume's aunt didn't have a reaction to Suzume hopping through that damn door at the end.
Yeah, I do know. I forgot about that because of just how extra everything was after the door. Yeah. But she really didn't react to her jumping through a door that had nowhere to go.
Yeah, just like, you just okay. Even if it just with just small little would have been was all I would have needed.
but granted, I guess at that point she was rolling around in the car with two cat gods. So I guess at that point they wasn't fully sure though. Even though they heard the cat talking, they was still talking to the we totally heard the cat talk, right? Right? It would have been nice for some slight surprise, I guess. Yeah, I do agree.
But even though with the talking cats, though, still at the same time, even that's still the same day, you watch through a motherfucker jump through a door and disappear. That's still okay. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. That's why I was like,
talking cat or not.
I was agreeing with you. Even with that, yeah. Some surprise.
The talking cat is one thing. The door is a whole separate. It's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, that's my last little nitpick I had.
Okay, all right. So,
just small though, but I just thought that was stupid.
No, I mean,
not necessarily stupid, but just a little bit off-putting. Like you should no reaction to her just jump through this magical door. we just already fully accept the magic. All right.
Right. cool. Some people, I guess, adjust to it faster. Who knows?
You're right. You know.
But I guess with that, since this is a review, what would you
It
give this
is.
movie out of 10?
What would- out of 10. Out of 10. I've had a really solid time with this movie. And so I think I have to give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I am. Hey, we lined up perfectly. I agree. I agree.
Like, cause for me, I think what would have gave it like a 9 if it had like maybe a little bit more action in it. Even though, of course, that's not what the
I don't-
movie was about. But I
About-
guess, and just specifically for the final climax, if the final climax was just a little bit more
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
climactic to it, then maybe it would have bumped it up to a 9. And then I think also another reason why I can't definitely give it a 10 is just going back to my earlier reasoning with the visualization of the worm. I truly believe we could have just did something we could have did some way better than that. That's just me. You just made giant fucking tentacles. They already think the animated community is weird. You didn't have to go and give them a giant six monster.
not the tentacle monster. Oh god, I didn't even connect it like that. But I mean, you're not wrong. You're not
That's
wrong.
I didn't want to say it at first, but I'm just going to go ahead and fucking say it now.
No, I mean, I get it. I get it. That's just wow. It's just hitting me. Yeah. I think so. For me, I would have gotten higher. I think just if it, there were certain parts of the movie that I felt like could have hit a bit harder. Personally, I because I feel like a lot of the movie focuses on the connections that you make with a place,
Mhm.
and and it's good. I just feel like if it did certain things to kind of make you care more about like maybe the history behind the places that were sealed or something like that, because they don't really touch up on that a lot.
I'm with you there because one of and I guess to piggyback off that point, right? One of the main things with the magic and how it works so to explain, like feel the memories and the place around you, like feel it, and they'll talk to you is what he was saying, right? Maybe we got some more stuff to where maybe because we did see Suzume interact with like some of the locals and stuff like that, but maybe we saw her doing stuff specifically with that incident a little bit more to kind of better connect with it first. Then that maybe would have made him a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
But the two instances we got though was just the first girl she just went to the middle school, the one that she helped out. The second lady she just had fond memories of the affair from from childhood, right?
Yeah, but we don't really get to find out more because, like, and to your point, her talking about that, they don't really talk. They make it seem like this place has memories, all this stuff. Like the memories will talk to you, memories speak to you, but they don't really do a lot to kind of like drive home why these places are important. I mean, like, I feel like they give you enough to understand that these places had significant memories for people and why, like, a school, obviously a fairgrounds / amusement park would be a significant memory for people, but like. Other than that, we don't really get to see the main character connect with that place other than just connecting to people. And I feel like that we could have done a little bit better job with that and made it hit a bit harder. But like, because even the last one in Tokyo, it came from a subway. But like, we don't get to see why that was important at all in any aspect. Now, granted, that could have been cut for time, but I would have, if those things hit a little bit harder, I think this would have been a really even more solid. But it was still very enjoyable. So that's why I think like the 8,
Okay, I feel you. I feel you on that. And then, like you said, kind of going back to some of the closer lores, them explaining it. I guess you found out during the movie, damn near anything can really become a gate. It doesn't really matter what the hell it is, as long as it got a door on it. It can become a gate. I guess I thought that was interesting as well. Maybe some more fleshing that out a little bit as well, stuff like that here and there. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Maybe have a little bit more connection with the places that we went and close gates at than just meeting some of these people that had the connection with it, and then we make a connection with those people, but we didn't really necessarily make a connection with the place itself. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like but it's still but I still give it the 8 because regardless of that, it told a good story and it did its job well. And it was surpassed a little bit of my expectations. It's just those things I feel like are kind of holding it back to me, but still a solid movie. I would very much recommend it to people if they haven't seen it. So,
of course, we always got to ask this age-old question: would you watch a Suzume 2?
What would it be about?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know because they ended it so they had an ending. The only I don't know if
We just closing more doors. Maybe it's a new disaster this time, but it's just still doors though. I don't know. Who knows?
If it was in a different location, maybe, because I would like to see what if, because to me, if there is a 2, it'd have to be somewhere else besides Japan, because I just feel like
you.
that
How
would
would
be,
we make it different?
that'd be a little bit more interesting. Yeah, that would be more interesting. And then also, is it like Suzume and Sota rejoining? Because at the end he left.
Because then I guess like a Suzume 2. Well, I guess in this case, if you do Suzume 2, you have to include Suzume, right? Because I was just about to say you wouldn't necessarily have to tell a story, about Suzume and Sota. But I guess if you're going for Suzume 2, what would be the point, right?
Yeah, I would think that would, like, if it was like them meeting up again and him needing her help to seal some other place, like besides Japan, that'd be kind of fun. Like, I don't know what the focus or bigger lesson would be, but I mean, I still think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, of course, everything don't need a sequel, but I would just ask. I just want
I mean, like, if this was good enough for if a sequel came out, I'd at least be interested in checking it out. I don't know if I'd go to the theaters to see it, because again, I think the way this ended was succinct and good, but I would definitely at least be like, oh, the moment it hits streaming on Crunchyroll, yeah, I'd probably check it out.
Yeah, I feel you. Once again, like I said, not everything needs a sequel. Of course, some things are better tell, and they're one singular story, get in, get out, and leave it at that. Let the viewers decide, how this story would theoretically continue, right?
Mm-hmm. But I do like the question though. If like, is this movie is the movie good enough for if a sequel to come out? Would you at least like watch it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think I'll give it a chance. I think that'll also give if they ever did do a sequel, I think the sequel would be a great chance to expand upon the closer's history, right?
Mm-hmm. Or even the world beyond.
Or that as well, because apparently we know about there's another world beyond there. Is there more than one world that this world is connected to besides the the ever after, or because that's just the land of the dead? You know what I mean? There's what about other spiritual realms that we can potentially go to? You know what I mean? So
because where'd the worm come from?
The land of the same place, land of the dead. Ever.
But I'm just saying, like, there was it created there. Like,
oh well, yeah, wait, I feel you, but it may not necessarily been created there. Yeah. A little bit of mystical stuff going on. I feel you.
Yeah, there's avenues you could go. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. Though I didn't expect this Suzume episode to last this long. Y'all got an hour out of this. Congratulations.
Yeah, but I will go ahead and take us on out of here. But appreciate you guys for watching / listen. Please let us know what you thought of Suzume the movie, if you had watched it, and if you would go see a sequel if they did make one. If you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, please consider us following us on our social media. That is at Gurren Otakus on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council everywhere else. With all that being said, guys, appreciate you for watching / listening. Continue to enjoy anime and anime movies. This is Gurren Otaku Council saying meeting adjourned. Peace out, everybody.